Looking for the front page of DeFi, look no further than Xerion.io. Xerion is your home base for managing your DeFi portfolios. Xerion offers a central place for you to engage with all of the DeFi protocols and assets that you engage with on a daily basis, but all in one central spot. Here you can see I've loaded up a wallet, and Xerion is giving me the portfolio performance of all the assets in this wallet over time, as well as a breakdown of all the assets that I own, as well as all of my transaction history that I've ever done in an easy to view fashion. Xerion also lets you invest right into DeFi's best yielding financial opportunities right from their homepage. Xerion also makes it super easy to access interest in DeFi using applications like Compound and Aave in the background. And you can also exchange your assets using the Xerion app using an exchange aggregator in the background to make sure that you always get the best rates. You can even use the Xerion mobile wallet to add your MetaMask or Argent or another Ethereum address right into your mobile wallet so you can see your portfolio and engage in DeFi on the go. Here I just loaded up my Argent wallet, and now I'm going to load up my MetaMask as well. And Xerion will do the same thing. It will add all of my assets and wallets together all in one space and give me a portfolio summary of what's going on. Adding wallets is trivially easy. If you already have a MetaMask, you can get it right into the Xerion app, and it can sync with your desktop app as well. And the best part is you can also buy Ether right into the app itself. Use the Invest tab to look at all the things that you have invested in, as well as other opportunities. And coming soon to the Xerion app is the ability to buy and sell your assets straight from your mobile device as well. So download the app. It works on iOS and Android. Go to Xerion.io, plug in your wallets, and get a historical report of your portfolio over time, as well as a comprehensive breakdown of all the assets that you own and how much yield they're generating for you. We're also brought to you by Monolith. Monolith is your cool new DeFi account, your DeFi savings account, your DeFi checking account. Except the cool thing about the Monolith DeFi account is that it gets software updates, right? You actually get to increase the usefulness of this over time. So here are some of the features. Monolith is a smart contract wallet with a lot of the features that you would expect if you've come to know DeFi and what it is. You can add money to it. You can put that money to work in Compound and accessing yield. But you can also swap through Uniswap. What was cool with Monolith is that they will send you a very sexy Monolith Visa card that connects to your Monolith smart contract wallet on Ethereum. So it's a really awesome tool to live a bankless life with a savings account that gets software updates. So this is something that you're never going to find out in the real world, but you can still do real world things with real money, like buy your groceries. So that's just fantastic. Coming soon to Monolith, actually already here to Monolith, is now you can buy DAI and get it sent to your wallet directly, right? So it's also being an on-ramp. So you don't have to go through your centralized exchange like Coinbase or Gemini or wherever. You can just go straight from your bank account right into your Monolith checking account smart contract wallet. So check them out at monolith.xyz. All right, Bankless Nation, I am here with Red from the Harvest team. Team, is that the right word to call it?
Sure. Harvest Finance team. Sure. Why not?
Yeah. What do you guys call yourselves?
Me specifically, I'm a community manager. I'm not a developer. The developers are anonymous. So I'm here representing them in the project. But there's about like 8 to 10 of us, community managers, who handle various sorts of tasks within the project outside of just like the pure coding aspect of it. And that's probably one of the cool things we'll dive into a little bit later on in the project. I think that's one of the core strengths of the project. But there's about like 8 or 10 of us that do things like either, talking on a podcast, or we have some people that are various contests that we have. There's some people that help with the community built tools and just kind of vetting some of that information maybe before it goes to the developers. So we're kind of like the middle management, if you will, of the project. We try to fade a lot of the common questions and a lot of the loose ends that can be tied up so the developers can really develop and focus on strategies and things like that.
Well, that's really fascinating to me. I always find it cool when projects, especially bottom-up projects like Harvest, generate some sort of structure or some sort of system for managing their community, which we all know how important community is, and then also just being having customer relations or user relations. I think that's a really awesome sign of maturity. Before we go into conversations like that, however, maybe let's get our listeners grounded. What is Harvest and how did it come about?
Sure. So, um, Harvest Finance is an automated yield farming platform. So, to kind of take a step back from that, yield farming is basically going out to places that offer rewards for providing liquidity or initial bootstrapping of their project. So, if you think like a Uniswap or a Curve, if you provide liquidities to those platforms, they'll give you back some reward tokens that you can collect over time. You can either keep those tokens or you can sell them, to whatever else, right? And so what Harvest does is try to make that a kind of a one-click simple solution for the user, so they can simply deposit something like USDC coin, and we will make sure to place that into the best performing strategy that's available to users that's also deemed safe, right? So as an individual user, you can go directly to a Curve yourself, again, deposit liquidity, start earning some tokens, but to actually accrue like true compounding, which is APY percentage, which is what you see advertised everywhere, you can't actually achieve that percentage unless you compound. So that means harvesting those rewards, selling the rewards to another currency, redepositing that currency, and then gaining the rewards, and then repeating that cycle over and over again. That can be time intensive, cost intensive for the user. So Harvest Finance, again, not only does this automatically for you, it tries to jump around to the different various strategies that might be out there. Like, idle finance is the new one that kind of propped up and that's popular. We were farming that almost from the get-go, and I think we might have been one of the first projects out there farming it, right? So, being a part of Harvest allows you to jump into those strategies very quickly and earn true APY on your money, as opposed to really having to learn in depth about crypto and maybe having to be a lot more knowledgeable before you can do some of these more complex strategies. So again, Harvest tries to be a one-click solution for users.
So how did the Harvest team kind of come together? Was there one central inspiration for the project, or how did the code develop and who developed it?
So the developers are anonymous. So again, my role as a community manager and semi anon. Again, we try to act as that middle management. So as far as their background, I can't really speak to that. Again, because our really interactions really mainly through Discord chat. But as far as the intent of the platform, again, cryptocurrency, just getting into it itself can be kind of very difficult and complex, right? And then if you want to earn a good return on your money, or if you kind of just want to experience this realm of DeFi, that can be very intimidating, right? Because you hear about quote unquote rug pulls or just scams, or it's just even very hard to dig in deep into projects and understand their legitimacy and what they're all about before you kind of miss the bandwagon of the bootstrapping of the APYs or the rewards or whatever it is, right? So I think Harvest is really just trying to say, crypto can be for everybody. It can be for grandma and Aunt Matilda. So let's try to lower the barriers so they can get in, they can feel safe, they can use something as simple as stablecoin, or they can advance up all the way up to, WBTC Ren, or whatever the combinations are, right? So again, it's so for the very easy noobish user all the way up to the advanced user. The ideology of Harvest is crypto can be for everybody. It doesn't have to be complex, and you don't necessarily need to spend the time yourself researching all of these various strategies. We can do it for you.
So would you say, so there are a number of different yield aggregators in the Ethereum ecosystem, like YEARN and Pickle come to mind. Would you say that angle is Harvest's unique angle, trying to get down to just the basic users and make make the concept of just achieving yield as just simple and bare boned as possible?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to oversimplify that, right? Because it makes it sound simplistic what we're trying to accomplish. But crypto doesn't have to be this crazy complex crazy string digit that you have to send your money to, and then you have to make 7 jumps through different currencies just to, again, get these APYs, right? So there is very much mainstream doesn't want to go through that, and everybody talks about on crypto Twitter, hey, we really want the mainstream, we want these, you know, big time investors to come in here, but again, they don't want to have to jump through all these hoops and barriers to get into it. So I think, yes, definitely that is the angle that Harvest is trying to take, to say, we'll do all the complexity for you, just deposit and relax, and that can be accomplished, right? And again, it's all on chain, so the user can see everything's happening. You know, it's hybrid, decentralized, right? So the devs play a role in deploying this stuff, but then once it gets all on chain, you have that decentralized part. So there's a lot of trust in that as well, right? So I think, again, it's just trying to merge the complexities, but make it simple for anybody to join in.
What else would you say would be Harvest like an important differentiator from the other yield aggregators on Ethereum?
So for us, community is like the number 2, like foundational cornerstone of the project, or you're not even number 2, it's just like the other main thing, right? So aside from having this really awesome platform created by the developers, it's its own unique code, it's not some food fork or whatever the rage was, right? And then aside from that, and the simplicity goes into it, it's the ground up community involvement. And that starts with me. I was just the dude that wandered in the door from day one. And I said, I'm tired of chasing all these different farms. This one sounds awesome. It's automated. You know, let's see what happens from here. And I learned about the project. I kind of stuck around in the Discord. I was helping other people, which is some of the basic questions. And I'm like, wow, this is really getting popular. And I've done some moderation work. I actually help out Monolith project. I've been a moderator with them since they're actually their ICO. So I've been around them a while. So I decided to offer just some help with the project as a volunteer. And now I've just stuck around. And pretty much every other community manager is a volunteer, right? They have no association, direct association with the project. So all of us are just a bunch of guys or gals, again, pseudo-anonymous, so I don't know. So, but we all just kind of stuck around and hung out through the love and the passion of the project. And then the project itself, or the developers, have empowered anybody who wants to help out, whether it comes to UX, building community tools. The dashboard that's built directly into the Harvest website is a community built tool. The calculators that we have, we do community creativity contests, because we're collecting art or different art perspectives. Say, hey, what can we do to upgrade the website? What is the community? What does that really click with the community? We have a developer contest and a UX contest that we took various ideas from the community and said, okay, this is what you guys like, the look of the community. We just recently updated. There's brand new artwork on the website. There's new ways how the different various strategies are structured within the website. And all of that comes directly from the community, right? So as you were kind of saying before, it's how it's very interesting how we have like this kind of middle management. This is really like a huge organization, a $500 million organization in a sense, based on deposits, or $600 million now. And so there are a lot of things that need to be done other than just building out direct code. Well, you know, they can't necessarily go out and hire people per se, or that's not necessarily the best way to do it. What's the best way to really get buy-in from your community, especially in crypto? And that's really making sure that people feel like they're participating in the project itself, as opposed to just waiting for like a monthly newsletter that's telling you very specific information that's probably not telling you really anything, right? And so how many of those 2017 ICOs that exist out there today are following this like old school roadmap ideology, and again, just one-way information flow? Whereas constantly in Harvest Finance, it's give us feedback, tell us what you want to see. And that also includes strategies. Hey, have you heard about a new farm that's deployed that we haven't heard about? Tell us about it. And then we also have this really amazing program called Council of 69, which is specifically looking towards like developers and projects and saying, hey, are you in your seed round or your kind of growth phase? What can we do as a company or as a project in DeFi to help you realize your potential? Does that take some money? Maybe some kind of partnership where we're going to utilize your platform. So PerpFi was the very first example. They're going to be launching here, I think, at the beginning of the next year. We've made a collaboration with them where we're specifically going to work with them. And Benchmark is another one where we're going to begin launching strategies on both both of them, which may also allow us to expand just kind of like beyond yield farming rewards. When you have 500, 600 million deposits, you're almost like a huge hedge fund, right? So what can you do with these collaborations with the community that can take you beyond just what you initially started or your initial vision, right? And how can you kind of grow into something else? And I think that's really where the strength of Harvest Finance comes from. It's partially from the developers, again, their idea and their ability to build this product, but then their allowance for that product to evolve with the community and all their different ideas. And I think that's what really makes Harvest Finance unique and truly organic, right? We use all this like farming themes and like farmlands and stuff like that within the community. But like, it's funny, I just constantly hear in my head, organic, because we're not paying shills to talk about us, right? We're not doing all this like plastering ads or things everywhere. It's truly people are interested in about our project and we've empowered them and it's really taken off.
So any listener of the Bankless program should know the value of community behind a project or ecosystem or anything really in the crypto space. And garnering that bottom-up community inspiration is really, really important. But also at the end of the day, I do believe that it's extremely important to have concrete raw incentives. How does Harvest actually like financially incentivize its own development? Does it compensate developers who add strategies, or how does the financial compensation component work around Harvest?
That's a great question. You know, from end to end, Harvest is very open-handed. You know, starting from just the simple things as the creativity contest, right? Because we really want to inspire people to give their best and we want to pay them for their time, you know, especially if we can use that art or that creativity for the benefit of Harvest. So I think we've given out like over $20,000 in farm through 4 or 5 various different contests that we have out there. The developers pay for work that's been done within the community. So we have a specific developer channel and there's kind of like a backlog of tasks that they're building up and wants and needs from whether this the developers or the community. And anybody can go out and fulfill these tasks. And if they kind of fulfill the parameters are set up, the devs will pay out for that work. You know, we have a bounty program, I think that's going to be announced this week that has various rewards associated with it. So, again, there's just so many things and opportunities out there with that operational fund. So it's part of like the initial launch phase, or I guess coming out of the market cap, there's 10% of the supply basically goes to an operational fund, right? So there's funds specifically set there to grow the project. I've mentioned Council 69. If somebody from the community brings forth like a project idea, you know, because it may not be the project itself directly coming to us. It may be somebody saying, hey, I've heard about this project. Here's a strategy that I've kind of laid out how I think you could work with this project. And if that actually gets launched and turns into a profitable association, that person receives 10% kickback, right? So very rewarding to be part of the Harvest ecosystem, just from that one respect. And then just farm ownership in itself has its own benefits because it's a profit share token, right? So this is one of the very rare tokens in cryptocurrency that actually the cash flow profits associated with the platform hit the token, right? Most other tokens that exist are kind of just like speculative tokens, kind of vaporware, or hey, there's a printing press behind it and it just prints more tokens as rewards to you. But the profits that you can see on the front page of Harvest Finance, they're true profits that have nothing to do with the farm token itself. It's actual profits generated from going to farm, you know, CRV or Uniswap or Sushi or whatever it is. And then the user gets, or the farm holder gets a 30% cut of those profits. So you can actually do, and we were talking mainstream earlier, well, the mainstream investor, a guy from Wall Street, he's used to P&E and analytics and cash flows. So when he goes and looks in a token in the crypto sphere, 99% of them don't have cash flows. How does he apply a true valuation to that? But on farm, if you can see 30%, you can see $25 million flowing through that token annualized, you can do a P&E. And so that's very attractive to, you know, not only developers wanting to come and build with us and, and getting paid in something that actually has true tangible value, it appeals to other people outside of cryptocurrency as well.
If you want to live a bankless life, you need to get a hardware wallet. There is no alternative for storing your crypto in a self-sovereign fashion. That's why I have 4 ledgers that I use to manage my different crypto assets using the Ledger Live account as well. Ledger Live is like your home base for managing your Ethereum, DeFi, and crypto accounts. It does a really good job of aggregating all of your different Ethereum wallets if you are the type of person that uses more than one. But you can also add other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Cosmos or whatever your preferred blockchain is. And then it will display an aggregate portfolio of all your accounts at the main page. One thing that Ledger is doing a really good job of is enabling all the money verbs that me and Ryan talk about with the Bankless Skill Cube enabled in the Ledger Live app. So right now in the Ledger Live app, you can buy, sell, lend, swap, and stake your crypto assets, which is doing a really good job of fulfilling all of the money verbs in the Bankless Skill Cube. Something that's new to Ledger Live is Ledger Swap, where you can swap assets one for another directly inside the Ledger Live application, ensuring trustlessness in your financial activity on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. If you want to learn more about what you can do with a ledger, go to the blog post, The Power of Ledger Live on the Ledger website, where they share some of the more advanced things that you can do with your ledger that you might not have known about. There's a link in the show notes that will take you to the Ledger shop where you can get your preferred Ledger hardware wallet. I personally like the Ledger Nano X, but I also have both. They're both great options. When you own a ledger, you own your own assets in the way that they have been designed to be held by the user and the user alone. So go get your ledger today to make sure that you are as self-sovereign as possible. The Bankless State of the Nations are brought to you by YEARN. YEARN is DeFi's first self-building community-run project, which I just get really, really excited about. YEARN is a system that seeks out yield in DeFi, and it does that in a number of different ways. A very aggressive way is with the vaults, where you can deposit your preferred asset of choice, and different DeFi experts will come in and generate a strategy for what to do with your deposited token, right? And so it'll go find ways to get yield in that deposited token in DeFi. For those who want to just earn yield on their stablecoins, the Earn system is for you, where you can deposit your preferred stablecoin and YEARN will go and figure out which money market on DeFi in DeFi is producing the best interest rate, whether it's DYDX, it's Compound, or Aave. It looks around DeFi to see where the yield is coming from, and it directs stablecoins automatically so you don't have to. Check them out at yearn.finance to get started, and also check out the stats page to see what other people are doing as well. Let's talk about the trust or trustless vectors of Harvest. What parts are centralized and trusted, and then what parts are decentralized and trustless?
So I would say it's kind of like a hybrid system I was kind of mentioning before, right? So the devs are basically building out this code. There's new strategies that come in. You basically have to trust initially that the devs are looking through the code of who they're interacting with, right? Because we're doing the whole money Lego thing. You need to go and interact with Curve, or you need to go and interact with Idle. So before the strategies deploy out, they're having to do vetting of this other third-party entity first, right? Then they have to build their own code and see what that stacks up into that, right? So, essentially that's kind of like the trust in them deploying and building out this system, the website and the UX and all that. Ultimately, then it gets deployed to the blockchain, which any user then can see what those contracts are doing and interacting, right? And that's really becomes where it becomes trustless. And the most important part is trustless, right? Because that's where the money is stored. So when you're depositing in Harvest Finance, all the vaults, all the codes are completely within the blockchain. You can see them, you can audit them. They've had multiple audits go through them before. And then there's also 12-hour time locks on there. So if the developers decide to go rogue and say, oh, I'm going to take all the money, it would actually take 12 hours before that could be implemented, enough time for enough warning bells to alert the community. And then there's also like a governance portion to the farm token, which again is kind of a hybrid as well. So the developers, when they're going to deploy something, say like through Council of 69, and they need to allocate operational funds towards a project like that, that's something that's going to be brought to the attention of the governance committee, and then everybody's going to be able to vote on that through a snapshot. And then there's also Discord sentiment voting, as well. So then there's kind of a balance between the two, because ultimately a whale can come in and wreck voting on any snapshot, right? So we're really big in the community, our Discord community. And so when we look at the snapshot and the participation and the people, the Discord, we want that to matter just as much as somebody with a really big wallet, just clicking and moving on, right? Who maybe is not even connected into it. They just saw some, oh, here's a vote, let me vote, and then move on, right? So to me, it's kind of like one of the best systems, because pure DAOs are extremely hard, right? Like so much stuff gets thrown on the wall, it gets very messy, hard to find quorum. It can really slow down and cause a lot of red tape for a project. So if you almost have, like, I hate the term, but like benevolent dictatorship, right? Everybody cringes when you say dictatorship, but ultimately when you have just this really trusted party, and then they're kind of balancing with on-chain code validation that you can do, that's almost like the best system, because it gives you that nimbleness to deploy strategies really quickly without having to jump through all this red tape and multi signatures and all yada yada yada. And they can deploy, and then before you decide to throw your money in there, you can on-chain verify everything they've done, so you can have that measure of trust.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely bullish on the trustless at the center and trusted on the periphery type model, where as things tend to get integrated, they only get integrated if they are indeed truly trustless, and there's like this kind of emergent vetting process as well. That definitely makes a ton of sense to me. Let's talk about what is coming in the future for Harvest. What do you guys have lined up that your community members and potential customers of Harvest would be interested in?
So I would say just be on the lookout for things like PerpFi and Benchmark. Again, really trying to grow, I think, beyond just pure like yield farming. I don't know how long that as a fad is necessarily going to last, right? You had ICOs, they kind of petered out for a while, and then you had some things in between, and then now you may have like this whole fair launch or bootstrapping through yield farming. So, but ultimately, if you want to be a viable platform, like beyond, these 6 months or a year, or whatever it is, you need to be able to grow and evolve, right? So I really think for what's next for Harvest Finance is continuing to grow with the ecosystem, continuing to partner with projects like Badger, right? Like I think we're one of the only like supersets that you can deposit with Badger, right? So, and that's a hot project right now. So it's just showing that, the potential that we have, that we want to build a diverse ecosystem, like through organic growth, not necessarily like acquisitions and mergers and making this huge conglomerate, but recognizing that like each individual project can work together and still be this synergy, and still to be independent and have like their own ideas, right? And still be, very nimble. Because like, for instance, like YEARN or YEARN, however you want to say it, acquiring all those different projects, huge big news and the things that really like got everybody excited in crypto Twitter. But like ultimately, can that slow you down, right? When you just become too gigantic. And then I think it was just news a couple of days ago, well, then two of like the main pickle devs quit. Well, how does that put any strain on resources now at YEARN, right? So, just thinking on those lines of expanding, but not necessarily like the size of Harvest per se, but expanding those like relationships and partnerships to utilize the extremely smart people in crypto, right? So again, I know I didn't necessarily reveal anything too specific there, but one, I think because it's just kind of the end of the year, and I don't want to announce anything necessarily right now, but again, I think the two big things that are really in the horizon that are known about are PerpFi and Benchmark. So I really just suggest everybody kind of take a peek at those projects as well, because I think they're going to be very interesting. And then again, just being able to leverage new strategies with both of those platforms is going to be something very cool.
And if somebody wants to join the Harvest community or just learn more about Harvest, where should they go?
So definitely, I would say come to our Discord. Just an amazing community. We try to be welcoming. We answer every question possible. And this community is very much not the wind, moon, trader, money, money, money kind of community. I mean, we have a channel for that, but it's pretty much like our least chatted channel. Like our most popular channels are the strategy discussions, the general channel where we talk about all the cool things that's happening in crypto. And then definitely like the artistic side of things where people really wanted to submit their artwork. So if you're not a chat room person, we definitely have Reddit out there. We have Medium that we release updates every Tuesday. So today you're going to probably get some cool news today in the Tuesday update because we always try to have some cool new tidbits in there. So there's just so many different ways to get involved. And then again, I encourage everybody, even if you're not in crypto or you're kind of just hearing about crypto the first time, hey, maybe you're an artist, a writer, poetry, you're good at making intro videos, community content, whatever it is. We pay pretty good money for that kind of stuff, right? So we definitely want to invite everybody who's interested in crypto. Again, I was just a guy off the street, love crypto. I love chatting about it, like chatting with you about it. And hey, I have the opportunity to kind of be part of a project and grow with them. Hey, we want you as part of Harvest, right? We definitely want your abilities and talents. So come on out.
Yeah, that actually started to answer what my next question was, is like, what sort of niche are you guys looking to get filled by the community? Is there any like untapped or labor that you guys are looking for, like in addition to the creative side? Like what are you guys looking for with new community members to help them fill gaps?
I would just say, I mean, we're actually looking for everybody, right? Because ultimately, we're still trying to spread the word about Harvest, right? Like myself, I like to write content. If you go to Redemption, REDMPTION, Redemption without the second E, .medium.com, written several articles about Harvest. My most recent one was like an intro guide into like installing MetaMask, buy something from Coinbase, and then get it over to Harvest, right? So, you know, looking for people that can think along those lines. We're always looking for user guides. We're always looking for translators, right? That's one thing that's really popped up that's really awesome recently. We've got like 5 or 6 people doing translations in Chinese, Spanish, French. So all this really cool stuff, because again, it's not just English out there in the crypto world. And I think, you know, majority of the information gets to spread that way, but there's so much untapped potential out there, especially the China market. There was something that's really cool is there was kind of like a negative thought from the devs about a mobile website. And so they were very resistant to mobile just because of security concerns. But we have a very big Chinese contingent. And one of our moderators is like, no, in China, we use a lot of money in our mobile wallets. And this is very important to us. And it's very important that we get a mobile Harvest website going. And so it totally changed the devs outlook, and they've recently deployed the mobile version. And it works great. So, you know, those are the kind of things that we're definitely looking for, or feedback from the community to say like, no, this is something that's really untapped, and you know, we should really go the angle. So, you know, again, anybody in the community, like, I don't want to limit to say, oh, we just want devs or we just want this. Like, literally, if you have a great idea, come in and let's talk about it, because you know, we're only 15, 16 weeks old, right? There's so much stuff ahead of us that we can do, but we're only limited kind of by what we know, right? And there's so many other people that are, you know, so talented out there and they have so many abilities. We got guys creating rap songs, right? Brian Divisions, you gotta see this rap song. They're so high quality and awesome. If you haven't heard it, this guy is really legit and good. And you would think off the top of your head, oh, some rap song about Harvest Finance, but they're actually so well done and awesome. And those are the kind of people we're bringing in, right? So I don't want to give you a limitation, say this is the kind of people we're looking for, because everybody at Harvest Finance is welcome, whether you're a developer or you're a hip hop star.
As somebody who got their start in crypto kind of just doing free labor for MakerDAO, which ended up turning into an actual real gig, like, this is how you break into the space. Like, for the listeners who are trying to or interested in getting a job in crypto, like, you start by just being a volunteer, right? You start by just contributing because like you resonate with the project or you will resonate with the community or something. But like, the fundamental thing that everyone needs to do is you just need to start contributing, right? And so if you are looking to break into the space, like Harvest appears to be waving a flag saying like, hey, like, we have like opportunity for you here. So I would tell the listeners to make sure that if you are looking to get yourself into the space, like, there are ways to do this. And this is seemingly a very obvious one.
Yeah. And I mean, such a great point. And, you know, like, I am literally like a perfect model for that, just in that sense of like, I just love crypto. I love to like, again, have like the beer chat session and we're just randomly bouncing stuff off the walls. Well, that's pretty much what happens in like every Discord or Telegram out there about crypto. If you could kind of get rid of like the spam price stuff. And so if you're really authentically interested in helping other people, and not just for the money aspect for it, but just the true like share of information. I've literally, for 3 years, I've been a moderator for Monolith, never got paid a nickel. It's like, it's an entire passion project kind of thing. They were my very first ICO. They did fly me out to the project and I got to meet everybody. So I don't want to say that, you know, they haven't been very grateful in all that respect. But again, it was all just a volunteer thing, and me writing information and spending like 10 hours a day in that chat room, doing everything I could. And so it was that same mindset that I took that over to Harvest. I was really just trying to, you know, help people out. And then again, I filled that need, right? And that need is huge across projects all across crypto. There's so many times that I come across projects where their documentation is very lacking. And so it's hard for me to get in that project because I can't find the information I need. So, you know, content creators, video makers, translators, you know, there's so much stuff out there. If you kind of just, you know, put one foot in front of the other and start talking with these projects, right? So I'm glad you said that, because it's been a very cool journey in that respect for me personally. And just finding Harvest has just been like this perfect fit. And it's so cool just to see how open-handed and rewarding they are to even the non-dev people. Because to me, I don't think a lot of projects truly appreciate how important keeping your community connected is, right? Like a lot of projects, especially the ICOs, they raise so much money and then they say, okay, we're going to go off and develop. And then, but only so much time can go by before you get this restless community that's expecting something to be delivered or whatever it is. But these projects like Link, I mean, that's kind of just taken on a life on its own with its community and its kind of whole meme army. And so those kind of projects, it's not just about the product itself, right? Like sex sells, right? And especially in crypto and that mentality. So there has to be a little bit of incorporating that the community in addition to the product you're developing, or I don't think you'll be successful in crypto.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. All right, Bankless Nation, the links to the Harvest Discord and website will be in the show notes. Red Redemption, thank you for coming on to the Meet the Nation to introduce Harvest to us and all the listeners. Cheers.
I appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.